Well, tunnels, bike lanes, a new primary care action team, and looming election call, all hanging over the next session at Queen's Park as Ontario's legislative members return to work today after a 19-week break. Joining us to talk more about what we can expect over this fall in Ontario is Green Party leader Mike Schreiner. Thank you so much for being with us here today and on such a busy day back.
It's my pleasure to be back and happy to join you. It's been a busy day, but an exciting day at Queen's Park.
So let me start with asking you this because it was a huge conversation here. 19 weeks off. Do politicians need that much time away from the legislature?
Well, the good news about being away from the legislature is it meant I had an opportunity to meet with my constituents in Guelph and to meet with people all across Ontario, listen to their concerns so I can be a more effective MPP. But I would have liked to have us been back a month ago because there are so many concerns people have. I mean, people are telling me we have to address the housing crisis. Our healthcare system is almost collapsing. Our students are learning in overcrowded classrooms. And we saw with the floods this summer here in the GTA, our infrastructure is not ready for the climate crisis. And we should be working on solving those issues. And unfortunately, the Premier decided to take an extended break.
So the big news right out of the gate today was the Ford government making this announcement of the creation of a primary care action team with former federal healthcare minister Dr. Jane Philpott at the helm here. So the government says the plan here is to make sure that every person in the province is connected to primary health care within the next 5 years. And I know that they laid out that the first 100 days of the program, it's going to be about where the opportunities are, looking kind of more at the numbers here. When you're looking at a plan like this, a program like this here, how do you measure its success and where do you want this to go in the next 5 years? Do you think this was the right move?
Well, I think we should be investing in our healthcare system right now, not waiting 5 years, because 2.5 million Ontarians don't have access to a primary healthcare provider. I have a lot of confidence in Dr. Philpott, but I also had a lot of confidence in the province's Housing Affordability Task Force. And here we are years later, and the Premier is saying no to implementing some of the primary recommendations from the Housing Task Force. Is he actually going to listen to Dr. Philpott and implement those recommendations? I don't have a lot of confidence in that.
And so I want to switch gears here a little bit, no pun intended. So you spend a lot of time on Toronto streets. You see what the situation is like out on our roads here, and you might have been stuck in gridlock once or twice, maybe making your way here to CityNews headquarters. Are tunnels and ripping out bike lanes the answer, though, to the city's traffic issues?
No, it's only going to make gridlock worse. We have 75 years of history that shows when you have more highways, you have more cars, you have more gridlock. I can tell you I commuted into Queen's Park this morning in my electric vehicle. Harvard was one of the streets I drove down to get to Queen's Park. I was looking at all those cyclists going by me in the bike lane, and as a driver, I was saying, thank you, cyclists, for choosing an affordable option that means fewer cars on the road so you can get to where you need to go faster. I can get to where I need to go faster. I think it's wrong for the Premier to take those affordable transportation options away from people, making our streets less safe for cyclists, pedestrians, and less convenient for drivers.
What's the solution, though, here? It's obviously a problem that
Huge problem.
You hear every single day. How do we fix this issue?
We're not going to fix this issue until we invest in world-class transit. We have gone years under building in transit, and now we have a provincial government and the Ford government that can't seem to deliver transit on time or on budget. The Eglinton LRT, delayed, over budget. Finch West LRT, delayed, over budget. Here Ontario LRT, delayed, over budget. We have to start building more transit. We have 75 years of, life that when we build more highways, we have more gridlock. I'll give you one concrete example. I oftentimes travel from Guelph into Toronto. About a year and a half ago, the widening of the 401 was completed. For about 3 months, I was like, this is great. I'm getting into Toronto so much faster. Now it's already gridlock again. We have to build more transit. We have to have more affordable transportation options for people like cycling, walking, and we also have to start building homes that people can afford in the communities they know and love close to where they work so they don't have these long, expensive commutes.
I want to get your take on one final thing. The call for an early election. It's one that both federal politicians as well as provincial politicians have or are looking to address here. They've been asked this question, so I'm going to pose it to you. Do you want to see an early election in Ontario?
No, because I think we should be solving the problems that people of Ontario tell us need solved. Housing, healthcare, education, having our infrastructure climate ready, getting oil and gas greed tackled. Those are what people tell me needs to happen. They don't want us to play politics. The Premier's going to play politics. I want to be here to solve problems for people.
Okay, Ontario Party, Green Party leader Mike Schreiner joining us in studio today after a busy day at Queen's Park. We thank you for your time.
My pleasure.